水砌成一道墙，
多少苦心聚成一个家。这里是温暖明亮，
阳光眷恋的地方。
一个人一点微薄力量，一条心圆了遥远梦想。
多经历就能点亮多难的愿望，让我们像一家人一样
来分享感动，化解迷惘，用最温柔的目光
看彼此成长，张开臂膀，
打开门窗，
让爱照在心上。也许你我故事不一样，
却都在这被爱被疗伤。这里是谈心歌唱，
阳光眷恋的地方。
一个人一点微薄力量，一条心圆了遥远梦想。
多经历就能点亮多难的愿望，
让我们像一家人一样，来分享感动，化解迷惘，用最温柔的目光看彼此成长。张开臂膀，打开门窗，让爱照在心上。巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉，哈啦巴拉巴拉嘣嘣，巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴。让我们像一家人一样，来分享感动，化解迷惘，用最温柔的目光看彼此成长。张开臂膀，打开门窗，让爱照在心上。
多少汗水砌成一道墙，
多少苦心聚成一个家。这里是温暖明亮，
阳光眷恋的地方。
一个人一点微薄力量，一条心圆了遥远梦想。
多经历就 你我故事不一样，
却都在这被爱被疗伤。这里是谈心歌唱，
阳光眷恋的地方。
一个人一点微薄力量，一条心圆了遥远梦想。
同心里就能点亮多难的愿望。
让我们像一家人。
欢迎来到慈济论坛的第2天，希望各位贵宾
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of our Tzu Chi Forum. I hope you all had a sound sleep last night so that you feel invigorated for today's meeting. For our keynote speech today, we are very honored to have founder of ASUS computer company with us, President Johnny Su. We would like to invite our moderator to help introduce our speaker. Can you all hear me? Esteemed Master Dharma Master Changzhu, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Again, we hope you have all rested well last night. Today, I'm very honored, very pleased to have invited the founder of ASUS Tech Computer Company. He's also chairman of the company, Mr. Johnny Shi. I actually prepared the script at midnight last night. Originally, I didn't have anything to work with, but I realized this is someone with such a stature. I really need to be prepared so that I can introduce him to you properly. His business covered not just Taiwan, also throughout the entire Asia, across the globe. Obviously, it takes a lot of time to go through the entire list of the honors he received. But let me just say that he is really a role model for me as an entrepreneur, as well as an philanthropist. Along the years, in addition to his own business, he has been advocating for sustainability as well as philanthropy. He has made a substantial contribution to Tzu Chi Foundation as well. In addition, he is also BCSD Taiwan chairman. BCSD stands for Business Council for Sustainable Development Taiwan. So today, please help me switch to the next slide. So in recent years, Tzu Chi Foundation actually has benefited from the generosity of Mr. Johnny Shi. In 2022, we launched our e-books. So that's a great platform for interaction between our foundation and volunteers. And that was thanks to ASUS computer company so that we can launch the e-book. And in 2021, Tzu Chi Foundation procured a total of 5 million doses of vaccine. And again, ASUS donated a total of 300,000 doses of vaccine. During the pandemic, we were also in collaboration with ASUS because in remote areas, there was the imposition of lockdown of schools. But we hope that we can provide assistance so that the students in remote areas could continue to take lessons from the school despite remotely. Again, we work closely with Wei Xindian, personal assistant to Mr. Johnny Shi, and we worked together to donate 4,000 notebook computers. So ASUS is also the largest producer of recycled computers in Taiwan. Starting from a few years ago, because we also have a medical foundation under Tzu Chi. Therefore, we needed to build up history to history. This is what we call the electronic version of medical information system. Again, with great assistance provided by ASUS, we were able to develop this software. As a matter of fact, there is a Taipei Tzu Chi hospital right next to our auditorium here, and the success in deploying our history information system goes a long way for our hospital to be upgraded to a medical center in Taiwan. You need to know that competition is really cutthroat among different hospitals, and there is very little daylight between different hospitals. But thanks to this information system that was deployed with assistance from ASUS company, we were able to be upgraded to a medical center. The company had been dedicated to development of biotechnology. This is something I regard as compassionate engineering or compassionate technology. He is also a philanthropist. Whenever he speaks, he often talks about a book entitled Principles, authored by an American professor. And I have observed what he has been doing throughout the years. He is someone of great principles. And he is someone that seems to have no defects, because there's definitely zero criticism against him. So let's welcome Mr. Johnny Shi, Chairman and founder of ASUS Computer Company. CEO Yan, Deputy CEO He, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
With guest, good morning. 今天非常荣幸说要参加第9届。
I'm extremely honored to participate in the Ninth Tzu Chi Forum to share the topic of the economy of goodness, sustainability, wealth equality, and common goodness. This is a topic that's truly worthy of us to reflect and ruminate on. Like a Chinese analogy that depicts the 3 stages of spiritual practice: seeing the mountain as a mountain, seeing the mountain not as a mountain, and seeing the mountain as a mountain again. Over the past few decades, rapid technological advancement has driven economic growth, creating a more convenient life. However, these changes have also had a profound impact on global ecosystems, the climate, and the environment. This contradiction between creation and destruction, between progression and regression, poses a complex and urgent challenge for both businesses and the entire society. Dr. He's work on the economy of goodness offered a deeply compassionate and insightful solution to this complex dilemma. So, this concept focuses on altruism, harmony, and common goodness, suggesting that as a business pursues wealth creation, they must also take on the mission of supporting the long-term betterment of society and the environment. The economy of goodness transcends charity, emphasizing that all business activities should be fueled by altruistic motivations and strive to generate positive impacts for the entire society. Guided by the principle, only by being altruistic can one benefit oneself, and only by benefiting the public can one achieve profit. It encourages business to move beyond purely financial objectives and focus on creating more meaningful value. The shift from a market-driven economy to an economy of goodness aims to build a harmonious and benevolent vision. However, the question remains whether this idealistic approach can be applied realistically in the business world. Businesses are inherently competitive and profit-driven. If selfless altruism is prioritized, how can they thrive in a cutthroat market? The pursuit of an economy of goodness is filled with subtle challenges, and without careful examination, we may risk deviating from its true essence. And now, please allow me to share the guiding business wisdom at ASUS and our effort to create an economy of goodness. I'd like to share my personal experience of leading ASUS through a complete corporate transformation. The essence of the business survival and evolution, balancing competitiveness and profitability. This is closely aligned with the economy of goodness. The two are mutually reinforcing. They are not in conflict with one another at all. So let me begin by sharing the core insights I've gained from internalizing and distilling principles, the seminal work on management by one of the business leaders I admire most, Mr. Ray Dalio. His book offers a profound interpretation of the economy of goodness. Ray Dalio's first principle is embrace reality. This tells us to confront the truth and align with the laws of the universe. This approach fosters radical transparency, open-mindedness, idea meritocracy, and the common good. These are all values that correspond with the concept of cosmic machine evolution. And they provide a solid foundation for businesses aspiring to adopt an economy of goodness. So by embracing reality, fostering open innovation, and promoting mutual evolution, the economy of goodness will naturally emerge as an inevitable outcome. At the core of the economy of goodness lies the principle of benefiting others. This is a natural outcome of societal and economic evolution. Before discussing this outcome, we must first explore the historical roots of benefiting others, which are deeply embedded in the market economy's essence of self-interest. We know that self-interest drives economic growth and ecological innovation, serving as key force behind the prosperity of the market economy. Adam Smith, in The Wealth of Nations, argued that when individuals pursue their own interests, the invisible hand of the market promotes the overall economic prosperity of society. However, the positive effects of self-interest are often short-lived. Over the past few centuries, we have witnessed the tremendous economic progress brought by the Industrial Revolution. But we have also seen how the economy-first model led businesses to treat the natural environment as an infinite resource, resulting in resource depletion and environmental degradation. The large-scale extraction of non-renewable resources, such as coal and oil, had generated immense profits for businesses, but it has also led to a sharp increase in greenhouse gas emissions, making it a primary contributor to global climate change. Furthermore, self-interest has exacerbated societal or social inequality during the process of capital accumulation. French economist Thomas Piketty, in his book Capital in the 21st Century, observed that when the rate of return on capital consistently exceeds the rate of economic growth, it widens the wealth gap. This dynamic enables the rich to grow richer while the poor fall further behind, creating one of the most intractable structural flaws of the market economy.
Historically, many businesses embrace the principle advocated by Milton Friedman that a company's sole responsibility is to maximize profits for its shareholders. This principle of shareholder primacy was once regarded as the cornerstone of business management. However, this narrow perspective is insufficient to address today's global challenges on a practical level. In 2019, Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, played a key role in shaping the purpose of business and redefined the business definition and already change it from a shareholder-centric model to a broader stakeholder approach. And Larry Fink used the capital forces redefine this. This redefined vision of stakeholder capitalism emphasized that long-term profitability is the true measure of a company's success. Exceptional companies demonstrate a clear business philosophy, consistent values, and the ability to engage effectively with key stakeholders, ensuring that every action aligns with the company's long-term vision. These shifts reflect a broader rethinking of the corporate role in society. Businesses that prioritize sustainability and address the genuine needs of the environment and society can achieve even greater performance and enduring success. The shift from self-interest to benefiting others is not an immediate change, but a natural outcome that evolves over time through the accumulation of experiences and interdependent working of all things. After thorough reflection and examination, I found that this concept is eloquently validated and supported by Ray Dalio's principles, which offers profound insights into the alignment and organizational successful with the principles of the economy of goodness. Ray Dalio is the founder of Bridgewater and the top 100 wealthiest individual globally. He dedicated himself to giving back to the society and future generations after achieving success and fame in the business world. Among his many contributions to his book Principles, which is widely regarded as a seminal book on management, reflecting on principles, I eventually led to the creation of the ACES Wisdom for a complete corporation transformation. These are transform and evolve, trust in radical truth and transparency, embrace idea meritocracy, and foster collective wisdom. Ray Dalio views a company as a high-level machine, defining an organization as a system comprising people and culture. His principles for organizational success focuses on three key elements: culture, people, and the machine. Culture is the foundation of an organization and must be implemented from top down. While it is easy to chant slogans, The true challenge lies in embedding culture into the organization. So, Dalio states that the most effective way to embed culture is converting it into an immutable principles. These principles must be then consistently followed by everyone in the organization, transforming them into disciplines that eventually becomes habits. The unique methodology, which Dalio refers to as principle, discipline, and habits, serves as the cornerstone of this approach and underscores the importance of consistency. By applying this methodology, anyone can become an effective leader and manager. After completing his principles of management and leadership, Ray Dalio felt something essential was missing. He had yet to share the deeper principles that shape his worldview. He concluded that work is just one part of life, and that the principles for work are ultimately the principles for a successful life. This realization led to his most profound insight and what I call the cosmic machine evolution theory. Dalio envisioned the universe as a system of nested machines, from galaxies, solar systems, Earth, to nations, societies, companies, and individuals. Within individuals, countless complex systems, such as the heart, lungs, and other organs, work together in mutual evolution. This process extends into smaller systems, reinforcing his belief that mutual evolution is the driving force of the cosmic machine. Evolution itself, he argues, is a continuous cycle of error, reflection, improvement, and growth. Ray Dalio's life principles resonate deeply with my reflections on personal growth and leadership. To become an exceptional manager and a leader, one must focus on self-development by mastering 5 key principles, which are embrace reality, evolve, radical open-mindedness, radical empathy, and decision-making. Together, these life principles provide a framework for achieving success in any situation. Embrace reality is the most important of these principles, which lies at the heart of what I called cosmic machine evolution theory. He defines the essence of reality as truth and reality, and emphasizes that embracing it, the reality, requires aligning one's actions with the laws of the universe while contributing the evolution of the larger system. Dalio repeatedly stresses that mutual evolution is the greatest achievement and reward in life. Without embracing reality, one is like a blind swordsman, unable to achieve meaningful progress. Therefore, to truly embrace reality, one must continuously refine oneself, fostering a mindset of radical truth and transparency. These qualities are essential to fully leverage collective wisdom and creativity. Dalio also highlights the importance of radical empathy, understanding others' perspectives with compassion. Lastly, effective decision-making requires seeking insights from the most believable people with differing opinions and applying the principle of ideal meritocracy to ensure the best possible outcomes. Ray Dalio's cosmic machine evolution theory is highly systemic and structured, making it easy to understand. He organized the principles into major principles, sub-principles, and detailed principles, or arranged with clarity and precision. If you truly grasp his first major principle, which is embrace reality, you will realize that it encapsulates the essence of the other four principles. In fact, in sub-principle 1.10, look at the machine from the higher level. Dalio encourages us to observe the workings of the system from the broader perspective. Rather than focusing on current details or short-term gains, we should understand long-term trends and causal relationships of the entire system to make decisions with a global, forward-looking mindset. And this is exactly the point I want to make today when discussing the economy of goodness, analyzing the relationship between goodness and the business from the broader macro perspective reveals that both are integral parts of the same cosmic machine. Together, they drive the evolution and progress of market economies and human society. In this context, the pursuit of common good is not a choice, but rather than the natural outcome. And here I would like to use this diagram to summarize the business wisdom that ASUS has always firmly believed in, as well as the role and position of the economy of goodness within it. As I have emphasized, the essence of embracing reality inherently include fostering mutual evolution and leveraging collective wisdom and idea meritocracy. These principles seamlessly connect to the principle of open innovation. Embracing reality is the foundation of our business wisdom at ASUS. We promote the culture of transparency and openness, encouraging a direct confrontation with problems and their solutions. By embracing reality, we gain a clear view of obstacles and are able to find ways to overcome them. This approach makes open innovation a cornerstone of our success. By fostering a culture of radical truth and transparency, we harness collective wisdom to drive innovation and engage meaningful with external stakeholders. Through shared knowledge, technology, resources, we co-create value. Ultimately, mutual evolution is the key to achieving the common good, with success arising from collective progress in an environment built on collaboration and support. In recent years, by adhering to the core principle of the cosmic machine evolution theory, I have witnessed significant transformations at ASUS. On multiple levels, we have shifted from focusing on daily operations and short-term goals to prioritizing leadership with an emphasis on building a clear vision, motivating teams, and driving long-term growth. Throughout this process, we have moved beyond traditional management thinking, transitioning from a materialistic mindset to a leadership philosophy centered on goodness. This shift has unlocked greater human potential and aligned corporate goals with personal missions, and helped our colleagues find deeper meaning in their work. In a fiercely competitive market, we have shifted from zero-sum games to strategies of mutual evolution and the win-win outcomes. We dismiss the mindset that one party's success requires another's failure, focusing instead on creating shared value to maximize the interests of all stakeholders through collaboration. Additionally, we have replaced the short-sighted thinking that often prevail in our industry with a commitment to sustainable development. Instead of focusing solely on short-term economic gains, we balance environmental, social, and economic objectives that ensure stability and prosperity for future generations. Unlike competitors who rely on imitation and cost-cutting from short-term gains, we champion design thinking. This powerful approach to design innovation seamlessly blends art, engineering, and management strategies to deliver exceptional user experiences that drive authentic innovation.
破即是设计思维。
Apple is the ultimate benchmark for design thinking, and ASUS has fully embraced and internalized this methodology for the past 15 years, holding it in the highest regard. We understand that great goals are not achieved overnight. Instead, we pursue a gradual evolution, continuously adjusting and improving through an iterative process to adapt to environmental changes, ultimately achieving our long-term objectives. The economy of goodness is fundamentally about embracing reality. This is a mindset of continuous evolution and self-improvement, shaped by the natural progression of the universe. It is not about avoiding competition or sacrificing profits. Rather, this is a principles-based approach to action. By gaining a deeper understanding of the economy of goodness and fully embracing this reality, we can navigate the challenges of the VUCA world. VUCA is VUCA, stand for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So, not only we can navigate the challenges of the world, we can steadily advance toward long-term value and purpose. Next, I will share how ASUS embraces the concept of the economy of goodness through altruistic and shared value initiatives integrated into our value chain. We hope these efforts will inspire others and guide society towards the evolution of goodness. ASUS has long focused on the sustainable value of the digital generation, with a commitment to promoting a pragmatic, fundamental sustainability strategy. We have been doing this for more than 20 years. We have evolved from a passive, compliance-based approach to embedding sustainability as a core element of our operations and a key driver of value creation. We believe that corporate sustainability is not just about contests or enhancing our corporate reputation. Rather, it is a concrete application of a company's core competencies. Measuring and managing sustainability performance is essential. At ASUS, we have implemented a strategic approach based on data-driven measurement and technology-driven management. This strategy evaluates the financial impact of social and environmental factors on the business while addressing the dual significance of the impact of business operations on humanity and the planet, a principle known as double materiality. Leveraging our core competencies, we focus on 4 key pillars: climate action, circular economy, responsible manufacturing, and value creation. These pillars underpin ASUS's long-term sustainability vision, strategy, and goals. In addressing climate issues, ASUS uses data-driven and innovative management models to enhance decision-making and improve management quality. We have developed a science-based emission reduction pathway comprising 3 steps: improving energy efficiency, expanding renewable energy use, and investing in innovative technologies to eliminate residual emissions. These measures form the foundation of our climate action plan, with a commitment to achieving net zero emissions across the entire value chain by 2050. ASUS enhances product energy efficiency through strengthened R&D and leverages our brand influence to encourage key suppliers to reduce carbon emission intensity. We're also committed to achieving 100% renewable energy use in operations by 2035, promoting the harmonious development of the industry and the environment. To drive further innovation, ASUS has established an innovation development office, applying open innovation thinking and a dual organizational structure to achieve both exploratory and applied innovation. The office collaborates with external business partners and invests in innovative technologies to create shared value. According to product lifecycle analysis, 80% of the environmental impacts are determined during the design phase. For this reason, ASUS has long advocated for human-centered design thinking, making sustainability a key design parameter. At Stanford University, design thinking is referred to as the parameter-driven science of design. Innovation, therefore, is not about freewheeling creativity, but a continuous, iterative process of measuring, experimenting with different parameters and constraints in order to find the best solution. This philosophy is also why ASUS has embraced a culture of the difficult path internally. Design thinking serves as a common language of innovation at ASUS. Every design and innovation starts with understanding the user's desirability, addressing both emotional and rational needs. However, its essence lies in breaking through limitations and challenges by using different methods of prototyping and experimentation to identify the best solutions. For example, our research shows that the new generation of consumers not only seeks the latest technology. Take smartphone as example, we really need to identify all the demand and needs of the consumers. So as you can see, there are 3 circles here, and they represent the essence of design thinking. They are probably in conflict with one another, but we really need to identify the best solutions that will provide the customers with the best experience. That's what design thinking is all about. Please go back to the previous slide, because I actually added some comments. So we mentioned that we need to begin with the demand of the users in mind. And we really need to identify the best breakthrough technology. And for example, we know that consumers, they want something that's lightweight, that has a smaller form factors. This obviously represent a major engineering challenge. But by leveraging our technological capabilities, ASUS optimizes 3 parameters: weight, thickness, and environmental sustainability. In addition to incorporating environmentally friendly materials into product design, we focus on creating easy to disassemble and recyclable designs, ensuring that ASUS products achieve a recycling rate of over 90%, far exceeding EU standards. We have also optimized the packaging by using fewer materials and incorporating recycled content. Thereby, we can reduce packaging waste and raw material consumption, while at the same time, we've been able to lower carbon footprint during transportation. Furthermore, ASUS leverages our expertise in both hardware and software. We integrate both hardware and software in order to ensure our laptops exceed the most stringent international standards, achieving over 42% greater energy efficiency than the Energy Star standards. As a matter of fact, environmental certification and sales of green products now account for 90% of our revenue. In value chain management, ASUS collaborates with upstream and downstream suppliers to create a responsible supply chain. We published the first ever environmental profit and loss assessment report in the global tech industry. We are the pioneer. We pioneer the monetization of environmental impacts and raise awareness about the value of natural environment. We have integrated labor, health, safety, ethical standards, and environmental protection into our procurement policies. Again, we were the first company globally to receive sustainable procurement certification. Our goal is to lead the industry in creating a more accountable and resilient supply chain. Beyond ASUS's business operations, I firmly believe in the value of giving. The establishment of the ASUS Foundation and my personal Guanshu Education Foundation reflects a human-centered philosophy dedicated to bridging the digital divide, promoting environmental restoration and education, supporting rural development, and improving the quality of life of disadvantaged groups. All of this stems from a simple and sincere intention, and that is the imprint of goodness. Under the leadership of Ms. Sandy Wei, a name familiar to us all, the ASUS Foundation focuses on 3 core principles: digital inclusion, social integration, and environmental education. By connecting domestic and international communities and engaging stakeholders with local communities, the Foundation amplifies the impact of shared goodness. Each project that we manage is designed to systematically evaluate it, and we use a 3-stage framework, which are input, output, and impact. This way, we can ensure continuous optimization of each initiative and positive societal benefits. For example, the ASUS Foundation's long-running digital inclusion program aims to create an equitable information society where individuals are not excluded from digital opportunities due to differences in education level, gender, age, ethnicity, or geographic location. Since 2009, the Foundation has also been conducting the refurbished computer and the digital training program, collecting discarded electronic products, refurbishing them in-house, and then donating them to nonprofit organizations and disadvantaged groups locally and globally, In addition, the foundation has established digital learning centers in underserved areas, actively engaging employees to promote digital education and help bridge the digital divide, ensuring equal access to digital opportunities for marginalized communities. In 2023 alone, the foundation collected over 65,000 discarded electronic products and refurbished more than 2,600 recycled computers for donation to disadvantaged families. We also partnered with the III and IBM Taiwan to donate 150 computers to indigenous associations, helping student and social welfare groups establish digital learning opportunities. Recognizing the global need for digital equity, the foundation collaborates with APEC, which is Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation. We work with APEC and establish digital learning centers in developing countries. These centers promote digital learning, cultivate local talent, and improve economic conditions. To date, ASUS has established digital learning centers in 15 countries, created over 500 computer classrooms, and benefited more than 650,000 students. We firmly believe that the power of collective good comes from leadership. Through our corporate influence, we mobilize both employees and talented digital professionals from domestic universities. They will go abroad and serve as digital education seed trainers in underserved countries and regions. These volunteers assist local schools in establishing computer classrooms. They donate computers. They teach essential digital skills to local students. This creates a virtuous cycle of collaboration between people, the environment, recycled computers, and therefore we foster a more inclusive and equitable society. I would like to share the video highlighting some of those who have been positively impacted by these initiatives. Every smile in the video is the driving force that motivates us to do even more.
And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We cherish this hard-earned opportunity, and we want to continue this bond that has traveled over 10,000 kilometers, moving forward with gratitude.
chakula chetu tunachohitaji utusamehe makosa yetu, kama nasi tunavyowasamehe wale utukosea, usitutie katika majaribu, lakini utuokoe na yule milele na milele.
I can leave you with only one thing only. Never let anyone tell you that their dreams are not big enough. If you want to dream big, do it. Don't let anyone to cast judgment on your dreams. Okay? Now work hard, study hard, and achieve your dreams, and don't let anyone to tell you can't.
Organization where I help young children, like the way Sign Off is helping us. I'll help young athletes to know computer, and also with the homeless people.
My dream is to become the best programmer in our place and in our country. Yeah.
What did you just say?
I love it, all of it, so much.
Thank you very much. On my life practice, I firmly believe that life's purpose should not be the pursuit of power and status, but rather the advancement of social welfare and responsibility. In 1999, I founded the Guanshu Education Foundation. The name Guanshu comes from the Buddhist sutra, which represents the idea of harmonious coexistence between humans and nature. I hope the foundation will uphold the principle of harmony and prosperity between humanity and all things as its core mission, with the guiding values of gratitude for trees, embracing the earth's virtue action to benefit others, and transformation of sentiment being. While the name may sound poetic, our word is deeply practical. And we also have long engaged in community-based environmental education, particularly at the Chulong Wetland in Kouhu, Yunlin, where we collaborate with local residents to explore sustainable development for the wetland and their surrounding settlements. In the Miaoli's Yunlin, we also learn to apply the wisdom of living harmoniously with the environment, and also we have to support local farmers to introduce grass-based cultivation techniques of fruit trees, promoting the environmentally friendly farming to preserving traces of pangolin, which we once only found in low to mid-altitude areas. We hope that through the care for this land and its people, I am to sow the seeds of kindness, foster altruistic connections, and ultimately create a lasting cycle of collective good. So I firmly believe that I constantly remind myself to give back to society to the best of my ability. This commitment drives my leadership of Taiwan Business Council for Sustainable Development, BCSD. Drawing from ASOS's experience, I aim to guide the sustainability transformation of business and industries, develop strategic networks, and foster innovation through practical solutions. My ultimate goal is to enhance corporate resilience while advancing the sustainability, inclusivity, and evolution of Taiwanese enterprises. In facing the current severe global economic challenges, business must approach their social responsibility with a new perspective that embraces greater depth and breadth. Enterprises should become a driving force for social progress, coexisting and thriving with the environment, evolving through mutual support with people, and leading the good economy to create a virtuous cycle. This, I believe, is the true path to sustainability. I have always been deeply inspired by the idea that the teachings of the world is the teachings of the Buddha. Spiritual practices does not require renouncing the world and business. It's not merely a tool for financial gain. It is a practice that can integrate with the life and societal values. As we pursue corporate growth, we must remain mindful of the power of the cause and effect. Every good cause we plant will yield corresponding results. Every decision made by the business not only affects the economy, but also have a profound impact on the environment and the society. Therefore, by believing in the power of cause and effect and aligning with the natural way of the universe, businesses can use their influence wisely while pursuing corporate growth and planting seeds of goodness that benefits all beings. These practices will foster lasting business blessings, achievements, and in turn promotes progress and evolution of businesses, society, and the environment, and lives of humanity as a whole. Lastly, I would like to quote the For Future Growth initiative from the 2024 World Economic Forum in Davos. The growth we aspire should be balanced innovation, inclusivity, sustainability, and resilience. Future economic growth must be achieved within the environmental and the social limits and driven by inclusivity and innovation. We should make the best use of resources and power we have to create long-term value for society, ensuring that the impact benefits more people. I would like to express my most sincere gratitude to the Tzu Chi Foundation for giving me this opportunity to share ASUS's path of goodness and evolution with all of you. I hope today's discussion inspires greater thoughts and action towards sustainable development and altruism. Together, let's plant more seeds of goodness and work together, creating a more harmonious and beautiful world for future generations. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman Shi, for sharing your views and wisdoms on cosmic wisdom, truth and transparency, caring for world. Now we have entered into the break time. We have prepared refreshments outside of this venue. Please enjoy yourself, and then we will separate into 2 sessions in the next agenda item. So you can choose which session you would like to attend. It will begin at 10:10. When you hear the music changes, please return to one of the sessions you would like to attend. Thank you very much.
多少汗水砌成一道墙，
多少苦心聚成一个家。这里是温暖明亮、
阳光眷恋的地方。
一个人一点微薄力量，一条心圆了遥远梦想。
多经历就能点亮多难的愿望，让我们像一家人一样
来分享感动，化解迷惘，用最温柔的目光
看彼此成长，张开臂膀，
打开门窗，
让爱照在心上。也许你我故事不一样，
却都在这被爱被疗伤。这里是谈心歌唱，
阳光眷恋的地方。
一个人一点微薄力量，一条心圆了遥远梦想。
多经历就能点亮多难的愿望，
让我们像一家人一样，来分享感动，化解迷惘，用最温柔的目光看彼此成长。张开臂膀，打开门窗，让爱照在心上。巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉，哈啦啦啦巴啦啦，嘣嘣巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴拉巴。让我们像一家人一样，来分享感动，化解迷惘，用最温柔的目光看彼此成长。张开臂膀，打开门窗，让爱照在心上。
多少汗水砌成一道墙，
多少苦心聚成一个家。这里是温暖明亮、
阳光眷恋的地方。 许你我故事不一样，
却都在这被爱被疗伤。这里是谈心歌唱，
阳光眷恋的地方。
一个人一点微薄力量，一条心圆了遥远梦想。
我心里就能点亮多难的愿望。
让我们像一家人一样，来分享感动，化解迷惘，用最温柔的目光，看彼此成长。敞开臂膀，打开门窗，让爱照在心上。来分享感动，化解迷惘，用最温柔的目光，看彼此成长。张开臂膀，打开门窗，让爱。
欢迎回到会场，在
Welcome back. Before we move on to the next colloquium, we would like to invite to our two distinguished guests from New York, Professor Zabiel Zhu. Welcome to come to Taiwan. And also we will particularly introduce you CEO Wei from ASUS Foundation. She is also the member of our Tzu Chi committee. We would like to thank you for your assistance in organizing this forum. And now we would like to conduct to the special colloquium. Our moderator is Vice President, National Zhengzhi University, Professor of Department for Economics, and our panelists are Mr. Johnny Shi, Chairman of ASUS Tech, and also Mr. He, Deputy CEO of Tzu Chi Foundation, and also Professor Jeffrey Wellens, Associate of Fairbanks Center for Chinese Studies, Harvard University. Chairman Shi, Deputy CEO He, and Professor Jeffrey Wellens, and distinguished guests, and our participants, good morning. This morning, after Chairman Shi's keynote speech, now we have this special colloquium. And then we have listed our 3 questions about the bring altruism and sustainability and common goodness to businesses. And we have 3 panelists. 2 of them have already made speeches at our forum, including Chairman Shi and also Professor William Jeffries, made a presentation yesterday. So we already have known them. And as the moderator, I would like to take this time to talk about the topic and also the beginning of the idea. When we talked about the economy of goodness, I am fascinated at this idea. Every time I come to Jing abode, this venue, whether it's in our university or other places when I made a speech, I think this is a very different venue for me. Mindfulness, I felt strongly here every time I came here. Among our three speakers, the first, Deputy CEO He, he came up with the idea in 2003, the economy of goodness. And in 2022, he published a book, The Economy of Goodness. I didn't really read it because it's a thick book, but I did read some parts of it. I have to say that Chairman Shi and also our speaker, Professor Jeffrey Williams, in his speech, we have already seen their relationship with the book of Economy of Goodness. He talks about the Max Weber, the ethics, and also the spirits of the capitalism. And there we had a lot of discussion like other economists. And also, like our chairman talked about culture as well. Max Weber talked about religions. However, if we follow this thread and then talked about Chinese culture, it actually is also closely related to Confucianism. And then there is a Japanese scholar, I cannot remember the name of this professor, but he was one of the first persons to introduce capitalism into Japan. And again, that's also talking about Confucianism. And from the spirits of Max Weber, and also from the Japan scholar, sorry, I really cannot remember his name, from these two books. And actually, none of these books talked about that the market economy would lead to the evil part. It's not the intention of the origin of capitalism. However, when I listened to Chairperson's presentation, he talked about evolution as well. I have been in the economic field for 30 years and also have two economists from the USA here. They can also prove that then in the past 30 years, we have seen that altruism or goodness, it's not that we need to educate others or to make changes purposefully. Actually, it's a result of a long-term evolution. And in recent published book called Humankind, it also talked about that, from the ancient times of the Neanderthals, people have the tendency or nature to cooperate, and inside cooperation, we have goodness inside. And also, in the Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, it also mentioned a lot of time that cultural foundations is necessary. So as a person, as a base of evolution, and as in previous presentation or speech by chairman, it talked about the machine and this evolution. Chairman talked about this. Professor He talked about this as well. And then they are very optimistic. They believe the evolution will lead to goodness. And also, we in other books also talked about that evolution will eventually end in perfection and goodness. Darwin didn't mention about this point in his theory of evolution in 1858. And we also have seen other books talked about the future of humans. Many of them were pessimistic. And also, there's another book. The author was 104 years old when he passed away. Again, he talked about Nova thing. And this is the evolution of humankind to protect the earth, to protect humanity. So we, in economy or business field, we cannot be pessimistic, even if the future is full of uncertainties. We often say in education field that we can only believe that we will become better, and from what we have seen so far, or these different kinds of potential threats we are facing, we still have the determination to move forward. Sorry, I have already taken so much time. Now I would like to introduce our three panelists here. Chairman Shi, we have known him and all, but I would like to briefly introduce him. But actually, CEO Yan also introduced him previously. I will also touch on what he has said in his speech about the design thinking and also continuous evolution, embracing reality. I thought that I will set this as the midterm and long-term visions of our university, but actually there already have some overlappings between our philosophy and Chairman Shi's. And we also have our panelist, Jeffrey Williams. He is an outstanding leader in financial, philanthropic, and academic institutes. And he has a lot of the experiences in the banking industry, and also he was the first foreign leader in Shanghai in the banking industry. So also have a lot of achievement in the management international finance, and also promote the global academic and cultural exchanges among many institutions around the world. He's now sitting in the board in many non-organizations, including UBS, and also have contributed a lot in the innovation of the UBS Foundation. And also, we learned yesterday that 100% of the donations from the bank's clients will be used on the projects, and the administrative or operative costs will be borne by UBS. And so he also talked about this DGS and its challenges in his presentation. These I have compiled last evening in my office. Okay, now I would like to introduce Professor He. Professor He he got a PhD in philosophy from Beijing University, majoring in Buddhism thinking and NGOs operations, and also in the year 2013, he brought up the ideas of an economy of goodness and the common goodness to realize an economy system of common goodness instead of pursuing economic gains. And also he published his book, Economy of Goodness in 2020, to see the concept of goodness and altruism and its practice to lead to this contents and realize that in human beings' economic structures, the goodness plays a very important role in economic development. So the brief introduction of our three panelists, and now we would like to talk about today's topic, how to put altruism, sustainability, and common goodness into business. And now we would like to invite our three panelists to share with us their views. First of all, let's welcome Chairman Shi.
First of all, I would like to thank the moderator for your kind words. Well, I'm very grateful that I'm given this opportunity to share with you my personal philosophy. I don't know whether you've noticed, but actually in my presentation, I actually connect the economy of goodness with the philosophy of Ray Dalio, characterized by the concept of embracing reality. I believe Ray Dalio is a great thinker. Well, you talk about the story between Neanderthals and Sapien. Well, actually, Mr. Ray Dalio also engaged in conversations with Dalai Lama. He said that we need to be a hyper-realist. What this means is that in his personal philosophy, we really need to transcend reality. So reality plus determination will result in a successful life. The reason why I strongly believe in the economy of goodness, well, as Ray Dalio would put it, we really need to begin by embracing reality. And we will be able to meet up with all kinds of challenges, and we can afford to be optimistic. Basically, we obviously have limited time in our session, but the reason why the book Principles, is touted as the Bible in management. Well, because Ray Dalio adopted a very pragmatic approach. He talks about principles for the operation and management of a business, and then he moves on to principles for our daily life. So in terms of the issue of culture, as it pertains to the management and of a business, we believe that's the essence of his philosophy, because he came up with 6 major principles. Obviously, if you have worked in the industry for a long time, I think what we don't want to see is a lot of moral teachings, a lot of adjectives being inserted into the operation of business. But for Ray Dalio, he didn't come up with a lot of adjectives. He actually distilled a lot of wisdom from his philosophy. He pays a special attention to things that can be translated into action. As mentioned already, he began with embracing the reality, and therefore we really need to begin by creating a culture that is based on trust, radical truth, and radical transparency. That's the foundation of his philosophy. And then his second principle is cultivate meaningful work and meaningful relationships so that we can support one another, so that as a group we can continue to evolve. And also, in his principle 1.4, meaningful work and meaningful relationship are mutually reinforcing, especially supported by radical truth and radical transparency. So I think that's a very important foundation that we need to keep in mind, and that is we need to really embrace reality. We need to be honest, and we need to be transparent about the reality that we experience. Otherwise, you would be someone who goes through life almost completely blindfolded because you didn't really see the reality. Therefore, the reason why we need to be radically open-minded, well, because we really need to accept the fact of life. We really need to accept all facets of our reality. As you mentioned already, in Buddhist teachings, we talk about karma, cause and effect. I think this actually is quite consistent with the theory of cosmic machine evolution. Again, I still would like to advocate the philosophy of Ray Dalio because I think his philosophy is very useful. We often say that we need to learn from Mother Nature. And when we study Buddhist teachings, we can see there is a lot of overlapping between these theories. So the reason why I'm confident, I'm optimistic, well, because I believe by embracing reality, we will be able to continue to promote the economy of goodness. You talk about how we can integrate altruism into business operation. Obviously, this is a very big question. And for me, the solution lies in the fact that we really need to integrate the concept of the economic goodness, the concept of altruism, and the concept of embracing the reality. You know, by embracing the reality, we won't make the mistake of being too idealistic. So I do believe this is doable. Because you talk about sapien, Homo sapiens. Well, this has been genetically programmed into us because we need to support one another. We need to assist one another. You know, without mutual assistance, we cannot survive. So, within our brain, we have a lot of neural cells, and we have neurons, and by stimulating neurons, we can become empathetic with one another. I think that's also a very important foundation for the continuous evolution of the human race. Obviously, the evolution of the human race is part of the evolution of the universe, and I, for one, am quite optimistic. We believe that it's possible to incorporate altruism into business operation. And the foundation, again, is embracing the reality. And the Ray Dalio mentioned two other things. We need to remember that. You really need to remember people would pretend they are operating in your interest, but actually they are doing things for their own good. It's crystal clear what we need. We really need to work with some shared values and mission before we can work as a group. So, for Ray Dalio, we really need to address the issue of the flaws in human nature. For example, in the Chinese history, there are all kinds of stories where the flaws in human nature has resulted in a lot of political upheavals. Because people are too self-centric. Therefore, we should make sure don't let people stand in the way. In other words, we need to overcome the selfishness that's part of human nature, so that we can succeed collectively as a group. So, what I would like to emphasize is that there is definitely a solution to this type of problem. And just like what we have studied in Buddhist teachings, and that is we need to turn principles into disciplines, and eventually disciplines will become our habits. I think that's the best pathway forward. So it's not the quantity of what we learn that's important. Rather, it's the quality of what we learn that really matters. And again, there's a lot of overlapping among different philosophies. Once you can understand the true meanings of this philosophy, for example, what is common between altruism and economic goodness, I believe it's definitely possible that we incorporate these important philosophies into business operation. I think this is the dream of Professor He as well. So we can all contribute to make his dream a reality. Thank you so much, Chairman Xu. So once again, you reinforced the belief that we can achieve common goodness. Well, I think that's very powerful, and we feel empowered by your comments. Now, I would like to move on to our next panelist, Professor He. Professor Chen, Chairman Xu, Jeff, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I think Chairman Xu has done a great job of explaining the economy of goodness. He has done a better job than what I can do. He actually combined Ray Dalio's philosophy and the concept of the economy of goodness. Well, Walter Limit has a quote: "We don't see and define, we define and see." In other words, we really need to base our observations on reality, because our perspectives are often determined by our stereotypes. So that's a major flaw, and we need to overcome that flaw. We need to make sure in our discussions, our comments need to be based on facts. So Chairman Xu and Mr. Ray Dalio, they really are great thinkers, because they leave their stereotypes at the door, and when they engage in thinking about these important issues, they don't really let their ego get in the way. John Ross is also a very famous philosopher from Harvard University. The veil of ignorance is one of his famous quotes. In other words, we really need to keep our egos at the door, and we need to participate in public discourse without letting ego get in the way. So we really need to be empathetic. For example, if when Dharma master sees a picture of a child that has been neglected, she develops strong empathy for neglected children. So we believe compassionate innovation is better than competitive innovation. Steve Jobs has a story where he created iPod. This will help children download the music of they prefer. So by being compassionate, by being empathetic, we can identify the real needs, and using that as a basis, we can become even more innovative. So I really admire Chairman Xu. I'm also optimistic, because the more pessimistic we are, the worse the world will become. So in order for the world to become better, we all need to be optimistic. And Chairman Xu is not just an entrepreneur. He is actually a great religious leader. In order for us to develop compassion and altruistic thinking, I think that can be cultivated. It all depends on how you see the world. You know, the more optimistic you are, the more optimistic the world become. Again, by the same token, the more pessimistic you are, the more pessimistic the world will become. So this is sort of like quantum entanglement, because we affect one another, right? So again, goodness will lead to more goodness. Evilness will lead to more evilness. And this is an endless cycle. Therefore, I think we probably need to put things in perspective. Darwin emphasized that through evolution, it has been proven that altruistic species are the species that can survive. So all species, including human beings, if you can learn to be altruistic, if you can support one another, then you are the species that can survive. Well, temporal cortex has been identified by scientists to be an area in our brain which will determine whether we are capable of empathy or not. So especially when we help others, that area of our brain will enlarge. So being altruistic is innate. It's an innate quality, but it needs to be cultivated. So although it's within us, but we really need to do the necessary work in order to cultivate it. And so being altruistic is something that we can definitely cultivate. Well, the reason why I authored the book, The Economy of Goodness, I was so fortunate. I was able to learn with under Dharma Master Zheng, and in the beginning, it was on an invitation that I joined Tzu Chi. But after I became a member of Tzu Chi, I realized it's such a blessing to be able to help people. Obviously, you know, I had a friend originally, he made donation because his wife told him to do so, and then he joined up because he wanted to monitor how his donation was being spent. But once he joined, he realized that, wow, this is a true blessing that he's part of the family. For example, the reason why the hospital was built in Hualien, because there was no medical facilities back in the day. But you know, once you visit the hospital, then you realize that the hospital is such an environment where once you are in that environment, you feel a lot of peace. So when we talk about creating a lot of environmental problems when we engage in business activities, then we really need to start from the source. How can we prevent environmental degradation from happening as a result of our business activity? So if we can design our business model in such a way where we can create a culture that we care for every employee, we care for shareholders, but we also care for the environment. Obviously, in the Western philosophy, they talk about the evilness of human nature first. For example, Adam Smith has written a book. I'm not talking about the wealth of nations. He actually wrote a book about how people chose different professions because they wanted to earn a livelihood. And that, based on self-interest. As Marx said, if we can defeat all capitalists, then we can create a society of equal wealth. So check and balance is also a very important feature of Western politics. But there's no balance between the two. Well, actually, I have a paper from check and balance to trust and harmony. I believe it's actually a better system. Instead of relying on check and balance mechanism, we really need to build trust. And we are next to Tzu Chi Hospital, right next door. There was built in 2015, and instead of exhorting people not to have a cigarette or not to chew bitter nuts, whenever a supplier, employees of our supplier come to our hospital, because they can feel the vibe within the hospital, because we have a lot of volunteers, and the volunteers will serve a lot of good food for all the workers. So, for example, vegetarian food is very inexpensive. It's good for you, and a lot of workers, they previously didn't have the habit of wash their hands, but guess what? We install a wash basin exclusively for them to wash their hands, and we have our volunteers standing by the side to give them a towel to dry their hand after the wash hand. So nowadays, if you go to Tzu Chi Hospital, you often see a lot of workers. They probably are doing some work for the hospital, but they have been transformed because of the vibe that is emanating from the spirit of the hospital. So we shouldn't try to convert evilness to goodness. We should start from a place where we actually embrace goodness, so that we can result in a place that's filled with goodness as well. So I think this is very important. Yesterday, I was in a panel discussion together with Professor Kramer, and I said that instead of becoming a unicorn, we should become a penguin to keep
everybody warm when we are together. My friend, the professor from Open University, they talked about open innovation. They say that within months, then and Apple invited many experts and designers from Silicon Valley in order to have this shared design. So this is not a time that we do things in solitude, and we now collaborate with each other. And the industrial revolution is control and the dominance. And, and also in the assembly line, you only do one part of the line. But now it's different. It's led by knowledge and also empowerment and collaboration. So it's different. So when we talked about collaboration, then the public-private sector's collaboration, it's not a unicorn. I think we should use the metaphor of a penguin. They have a collective effort to keep each other warm and survive, and they were cute as well. So the mechanism and philosophy of this century should change. Otherwise, we won't be able to survive. AI is a good thing. We can understand AI through Buddhism. And, all the lives are created by human beings. And the human beings can create AI even stronger than human beings. But mind is unlimited powerful. And if we use collaboration to reach common goodness. Let me give you an example. Satya of Microsoft, it was in 2014, it was 300 billion, and now it's 3 trillion. So it's decided by what you do to others instead of what you cooperate with others. So altruism and collaboration were put together. So through cloud, through mobile phones, then the human beings can create a lot. So I would like to cooperate with my competitors. That is collaboration. So within 10 years, from as I mentioned, the become the highest valued technology companies in the world. So we need a paradigm like Chairman Shi, if we have a good paradigm to show us that it's doable, today we have more than 20 enterprises from Hong Kong here. And, we contribute together to the society. And they told me that they were happy to see Chairman Shi here, a gigantic paradigm to us, from entrepreneur to philanthropist, and then we participate in public affairs and also to have a good ethics. And also we need to have a philosophical, spiritual thinking. So this is what economy of goodness is. I think we need to put our hands together for Chairman Shi for demonstrating the goodness to us. Thank you very much, Professor He, for your confirmation and good words to Chairman Shi, and also talked about the importance of goodness on the foundation. And actually, in terms of philosophy, the Chinese philosophy and the Western philosophies actually have a lot of common points. So I think that when we look at the Western philosophers, we can also find the Buddhist understanding in it. So here we understand these philosophers of the Western world, and actually that is the expression of our will and mind. And also Professor He mentioned about this, empathy. Adam Smith, and then you talked about Adam Smith's book. It also began with empathy in his book. I know that now here in the society, then we have heard a lot of bullying atmosphere from the boss to the employees. As a boss, we need to think about this. And what Professor He mentioned about this, we have to think about our good thoughts, but that's not enough. We also have to have patience. Otherwise, we will lose our empathy, and after that, we will become very jumpy. And the 3 stories that you told, I think they're very classic. And then, smoking, and then you give them fruits. And if you like drink alcohol, you then give them juice. And, next time when I would like to smoke, then someone pass the fruits to me. And then I will realize that the Tzu Chi volunteers, they would like to use this way to persuade us to stop drinking alcohol and smoking. I think this is a very high level in terms of education. And also there is the details of the goodness that Chairman Shi already mentioned. If we don't do this, sometimes we feel frustrated. We know many managers, they feel frustrated because they don't know how to lead by heart, leadership by heart, even though they have a high level of passion. Sometimes they found their team cannot catch up with him or her, and also they sometimes have negative emotions. So in many places, I think that, for example, we have a team, a group like that, we can remind us of this point a lot and encourage each other, because we have a heart of goodness. I believe that then we will find opportunities of change. Now I would like to invite Jeff to, is this on? Thank you. When I was thinking about economy of goodness, I have been thinking the economy of goodness is very powerful, because I believe that most of the entrepreneurs believe that they go to work, they are doing good things. Just like Professor He asked that, humanity is good or evil as its origin, and I believe people is good. And then when we talk about economy, market economy, is that the best system, or we would like to give it up overall and replace with this another one? I still believe that market economy can make people progress and also increase their wealth. Market mechanism is still the best system. And recently we have some issues, the issues or problems brought by market economy. But that's not the essence problem, but actually it was exploited by external force or twisted, distorted by external forces. If you believe that people are inherently good, then market economy is a good system, and it will. Our task is to guide the system to come up with the good results I would like to see. So this is my first point. Secondly, okay, let me add it this way. When we talked about market economy, yesterday I introduced the UBS Optimus Foundation. UBS is a very typical large organization. It is making profits for shareholders, but at the same time, it uses market economy and its forces to establish a philanthropic machine. I like it. Machine, the term machine used by Chairman Shi, use it, the machine, and continuously recycle the capital from the clients and to run some philanthropic activities. That's a good example. It has its business goals, but at the same time, they do a lot of good deeds. So this is my basic idea. Okay, the second one, from my father. My father was the general manager of the branch offices of a lot of big companies, and then he started his own business at about 50 years old. Many times he told me that, for a small or medium-sized company, it's not possible you only think about shareholders' interests, because you have to also think about your employees. As a small and medium-sized business, the boss knows each one of the employees and their family situations, their family members. So they cannot just treat them as a tool to make money. They have a direct contact to all of them. So as a boss of the small business and medium-sized business, in the community, it's just like that. It's not possible you can throw the garbage on your dinner table. In the community, my neighbors are watching my behaviors every day, so I have to be responsible or returning to the community and to my suppliers, to my clients, as a small and medium-sized business, SMEs. They cannot just think about the short-term gains of the shareholders only. But the thing is that when the company grows and then gradually the boss will not know each of the employees anymore. I myself that has been the general managers of a big organizations. I realized that part as well. At the beginning, I saw the customers, the clients every day and listening to what they needed. But once you reach a higher level position, you will find that your job was to report to your supervisors, providing reports to them. Then you didn't have that many opportunities to have a direct contact with your clients anymore. Therefore, it's very possible you will be distant from the reality and you think you are the Lord. And then the KPI system, that will be the key, how you set your KPI system. Okay? When you verbally, you say that, oh, we need to think about ESG, but what you does in your KPI system is purely rewarding you when you reach the short-term financial results. Then the whole system will be distorted. So that is why when we talked about market economy, that is why it deviated from its original path. And additionally, governments, like 100 years ago, all the costs of the government accounted for about 10% of the GDP for most of the governments. The big countries, including US and the UK. But now, the percentage reached about 50%. So for entrepreneurs, they don't need to think about their suppliers, their customers, as long as they can have a good relationship with the government. A typical example is China. Many friends in China, they think about policy first, think about the government's policy first. If they can nail that, they can make money. The society's needs, the customers, the clients' needs, that are secondary. Number one, think about policy. When policies change, they need to change accordingly. Lastly, many young people, here we have a lot of young people participating at this venue. Many young people, they don't really trust entrepreneurs wholeheartedly. They are thinking about they are making money for themselves instead of for the society. Okay, let me give you another example in our foundation. That is the Chinese Medicine Association in China. This year, we celebrating 110th anniversary. This a Rockefeller family founded association. It was in 1914. In 1914, they would like to see at that time, they found that the medicine level at that time in China was low, and then they donated the money and established Concord Hospital in China, in Beijing City. And some people would say, oh, Rockefeller is a petroleum guru. Maybe he would like to have an establishment with the Chinese government in order to sell more gasoline there. But actually, he already established the sales network there in China already. But if you understand Rockefeller family, actually, they are Christians. They are the Baptists. Okay? So from the beginning, Baptists has a rule. Every year you need to donate 10% of your income to do goodness. That is a tithing. So coming back to that the people are good in their nature, religions play a very important role here. You know, in my life, I need to make money, I need to feed my family, I need to do all these and that. But at the same time, I have to think about my responsibility to God. You need to also do that as well. It's not that just, you know, my conclusion is that a business cannot just put the short-term gain of the shareholders as your only premise. You have to think about a broader perspective. And lastly, who can influence businesses' behavior? We say the assets owners. You know, we got a lot of a retirement fund and endowment from universities and the charity funds. They directly invest in the stock markets. And people say that investors should act like owners. You know, investors should act as owners. That is, even if because I invest in the company, so I need to be held accountable for its behavior. If I want the business to do ESG, I can ask them because I'm the owner of the company as well as an investor. Therefore, many times in the past, we thought about, oh, this is an investment tool. I didn't have any relationship with this particular company, but gradually, people found that as an investor, we can influence the future of the business. Either you become good or become bad. And the investors actually have this power in their hand. So the conclusion is that I still believe in market economy. I still believe in capitalism, but I still think that economy of goodness is very powerful. Professor He's concept of economy of goodness, you know, crystallize, the term crystallize. You know, if we want to solve the many issues faced by the world, economy of goodness will be a very good foundation where we can start. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jeff. You mentioned three things. He believed in market economy. Capitalism is not in conflict with the economy of goodness. Well, in the book by Professor He, he began the book with a quote from Max Weber. Well, if you follow the thinking of Max Weber, then you will come to the conclusion that we should continue to believe in market capitalism. And also, in Jeff's comment, he reflects upon the fact that we should regard people as people. In other words, whatever we do should be human-centered. For example, Chairman Shi talked about supply chain, and all the stakeholders along the supply chain should be regarded as people. Therefore, as mentioned by Professor He, as a matter of fact, we want to cultivate our employees instead of looking at them as someone who did work for us and we pay them a certain amount of money. No, because actually the fact that we are colleagues with one another, if I can help him quit smoking, quit alcohol, then of course I will do that. And in the book by Professor He, he also tell some stories about Rockefeller family, and whether it's Rockefeller family or the very famous Japanese family which help save the business of Japan Air. You know, the reason why he did what he did was because he wanted to help the 30,000 employees of the airline company. In other words, they always put people first. I think that one of the big challenges that we are faced with, because we talk about mechanical rules, we talk about KPIs, and these KPIs have put a lot of constraint on what we can do. We forgot about our original why, especially if we have a big supplier, then they supply resources, especially if the supplier is the government. Then obviously we need to satisfy the government's needs. And if that's the only thing we do, then obviously that's not right. And in a book by Professor He, Max Weber has reminded us of that already. The reason why market economy was not developed in China, one of the major reasons why is that the monarchy rule in China has prevented from the development of market economy. So obviously these are all side comments. However, we need to realize as external environment continue to change, we also need to adapt to the changing environment. And right now, we seem to have forgot about our employees, our customers, our stakeholders. But today, our three panelists have reminded us that we need to change our approach. We need to put people first. And now we have completed the first round with our three panelists. Now we would like to open the floor. However, please give me some time because I would like to share with you some of my observations after listening to the comments made by the other two panelists. The difference between market economy and economy of goodness. Well, we hear that Jeff believes in market economy. So you start with market economy. And try to make sure you will eventually be one with the economy of goodness. And Professor He seems to be very optimistic, but actually I'm not as optimistic as you. That's why I emphasize the importance of embracing the reality. You talk about people. I believe we need to begin with embracing the reality. It's actually in alignment with the Buddhist teachings, because within human nature, there are good elements, there are also bad elements, and by embracing the reality, as you mentioned in your comments, we need to really convert principles into discipline into habits, and that way we can shape the corporate culture. So one of the major points you mentioned in your comments, you mentioned that Dharma Master Zheng Yan or some of the stories you've given in your comment. Indeed, those things are important if we approach these issues from the perspective of the kindness of the heart. But in addition to be equipped with the kindness of the heart, we also need to be very disciplined. In other words, we need to have some rules so that in addition to becoming altruistic, we can also continue to evolve our business. You talk about empathy. The reason why Mr. Ray Dalio emphasizes so much embracing the reality, but he also talk about we need to continue to evolve. I think if you ask him, he probably thinks chapter 3 in his book is the most important chapter, and that is we need to be radically open-mindedness, because there are bad elements in human nature, and we need to overcome those bad elements. Also, in Buddhist teachings, it's the same thing, because there are two most important barriers. The first one is ego barrier, because we tend to be very self-centric. I think that's the biggest barrier. But the second barrier is blind spot barrier. If you have certain strengths, then in the areas where you tend to be weak, then that will become your blind spot, and the blind spot will become your barrier. Recently, we talked about apologizing. Nowadays, we have MBTI because there are 16 personalities. And people like to use the MBTI personality assessment scale to talk about people nowadays. And especially when we conduct interviews, quite often, I don't think the interviews are effective because they tend to answer your questions by anticipating what kind of answer will please you. For example, Xindian is someone who has totally different personality than mine, so I regard her as my teacher. We need to learn from one another. So that's the way. That's a very good way of overcoming blind spot barrier. If we insist that we are always right, but don't be hung up on your views. Otherwise, you will miss the opportunity to learn what they really are, what the real truth is, because you are too insistent on being right all the time. And then we can take this one step further. We really need to adopt the so-called wisdom meritocracy. In other words, you need to understand the strengths and weaknesses of everyone that you are involved with, and you need to be empathetic. And we are talking about radical, extreme empathy. You can put yourself in other people's shoes. You can feel what other people feel. And chapter 4 is all about being extremely empathetic. That's the way I would like to summarize chapter 4. But for the fourth principle, he didn't call him empathy. But we need to understand why people are so different than ourselves. Meaningful work and a meaningful relationship aren't just nice things. We chose to do meaningful work? No. They are genetically programmed into us because we are Homo sapiens, and we have the spirit genetically programmed into us that we want to help each other, we want to support each other. We say that details are devil are in the details. Well, I think we need to be very detail-oriented. Otherwise, we will be acting completely blindfolded. In the United States, there is a very famous story, and especially in the state of Minnesota, they talk about do not be superficial when you want to be good or kind with one another. So for Ray Dalio, we shouldn't make statements by using a lot of adjectives. Rather, our statement should be fact-based by embracing reality. So if there's no conflict, according to Ray Dalio, then very likely that only false. That's a false statement. Conflict is essential to every good relationship because we spend so much time of our day in our company. Stanford also said that index happiness is created not by money but by your personal relationships. So we need to cultivate meaningful work and meaningful relationships. This is extremely important so that you need to experience some conflict and you try to resolve the conflict. That's how you can align yourself with the people you work with, and then you will be able to overcome the differences. Eventually, you can complete the mission by overcoming a very difficult problem. So that's what we do at our ASUS company. We take on very difficult challenges, and once we are successful, we really derive a tremendous sense of achievement, and they will be able to bring everybody together. So from the perspective of market economy, obviously I'm in agreement with you, because in the very beginning I also said that we all need to evolve, and market economy is still a great concept. However, how can we evolve from market economy to the economy goodness? Well, many people believe that it's almost impossible. Jeffrey is probably this is somewhere in the middle. You are more optimistic than I, but you are more pessimistic than Professor He. So I think we need to understand a lot of factors are in play here. Some elements from Western philosophy, some elements from Eastern philosophy. I think we can afford to be optimistic. That's my final thought. Thank you. Oh, well, I think Chairman Xu is really in the middle way. Speaking of market economy, well, I have a background in journalism, and for a market to be open, I think the good thing about it, the good thing about an open market, or where there's freedom of opinions, then truth will eventually prevail. However, because nowadays we have AI, we have big data, and we know that market power tends to be concentrated in only a handful of people. So this becomes oligopolistic market, even monopolized market. So this will lead to inequity in resource allocation and distribution. So we believe that it's important that we make sure information is transparent and the information is readily transmittable, resources are allocated equally. Then that's the kind of world we want to build. However, if ego, if self-interest get in the way, then eventually powers will be concentrated in a handful of people. And according to Buddhist teaching, the evilness of human could be worse than animals. But if we can leverage our goodness, then we can achieve enlightenment, because there is limitless potential within a human being. And at the National Zhengzhou University, we emphasize collaborative governance and planned finance. This is a theory advocated by Professor Kramer. So entrepreneurs, banks, and philanthropic organization can all pitch in order to implement blended finance. CEO Yan is a person of great vision, because he built a lot of platform where we can work effectively with the business community, with the academic world, and we really need to build this kind of platform so that businesses can participate in building a world that is characterized by common good. Resources can be shared. Also, as mentioned by Chairman Xu, we shouldn't dance around conflicts. We need to face the music. For example, Mr. Matsushita, a very famous business leader in Japan, he has a lot of different opinions than the teacher, and but he still engaged the teacher for a lot of discussions. Why? Because he knows the importance about understanding other people's opinions, especially people who have different opinions than you. And because a lot of things are intertwined. Therefore, by working together, by collaborating, that's the best way of overcoming differences. So we should not dance around conflict. Rather, we need to engage in overcoming conflicts in a constructive way. That's the only way to identify the truth. I think that's a very important foundation for successful collaboration. And also, even if we believe we act out of the kindness of the heart, but we still need to base our behaviors on rules. For example, to show our love shouldn't be translated into making people greedier. And so we want to be kind, we want to be altruistic, and a professor who has been an expert in the teaching of the Ninth Tzu Chi Foundation, he said that being good doesn't mean that you want to be taken advantage of. So I want to show my love toward you, but this doesn't mean that I want to be taken advantage of by you. So again, governance based on rules and innovation based on compassion. So in my book, I talk about 10 principles with which we can build the economy of goodness. So I agree. We need to become wiser simply because we want to be good, simply because we want to do good deeds. Doesn't mean that we can forget about being wise. So I think this is something we need to keep in mind when we want to promote the economy of goodness. So this is just my 2 cents after listening to the comments by Chairman Xu. I would like to see Jeff has anything to say.
3分钟.
3 minutes. So perhaps I can make a small interjection here. In terms of the concept of the economy, the economy of goodness, how can we actually incorporate that concept into the curriculum of business school? Because the business schools have the role of cultivating next generation business leaders. So if they can be taught this concept of the economy of goodness, I think that's very helpful. My alma mater, the business school of Harvard University, began about 20 or 30 years ago. The professors at Harvard University made a decision. The ultimate goal of a business is to enhance shareholders' values. However, there are many ways with which to increase share prices, and a lot of the incentives, a lot of the remunerations are tied to share price. In other words, there's no relationship between those incentives with how good or how bad the company is. So I think we probably need to change our curriculum. Instead of prioritizing only share price, we probably can add a new element, and that is the economy of goodness. Second of all, in economics, there are many different models. For example, originally there are a lot of microeconomic models. One example came to mind is discounted cash flow. If you want to buy a new machine, and what's the discount rate you need to use, and that's how you make a decision whether you want to buy this piece of equipment or not. However, if you expand the concept of discounted cash flow to the entire economy, then obviously that means there's no value left for future generations. For example, air pollution, water pollution, and the depletion of natural resources were left out of the picture. So this type of analysis is not correct. So we really need to come up with a better approach for analyzing the macroeconomics. In other words, originally the models that we talk about only were suitable for macroeconomic analysis. But I think when it comes to macroeconomic analysis, goodness should be the most important metric. I think we have used up all the time we have. Do we still have time? We only have 2 minutes left. Please introduce yourself before you say anything. Well, when we talk about economic development, obviously one of the purposes of economic development is to provide people with a better life. So if we put Tzu Chi Foundation on the job of managing economic development of the nation, then will we be in a better position? Well, I don't think so, because businesses are designed to make a profit, but religious groups are all about doing charity work. And if you mandate all businesses need to be altruistic, that's not right. So I don't think Tzu Chi Foundation should be put on this job. But probably the example set by Tzu Chi can inspire business community to do good. But I don't think Tzu Chi Foundation should be given the role of managing the business community. So the economy of goodness covers more areas than Tzu Chi Foundation can cover. Because for Tzu Chi Foundation, we want to transmit some basic foundational value. But for business community, goodness is only one of the elements, despite being a very good element, very important element. Thank you. In the interest of time, we need to stop here. Again, if you have any further questions, you probably can read the book by Ray Dalio, the book repetitively mentioned by Chairman Xu, and also the book by Professor He. Well, I'm not here to ask any questions, but I'm deeply touched by the comment made by all three panelists. Just like Chairman Xu, I'm cautiously optimistic. I do have an appeal to make.
Discussion I've ever seen. 就是这次的panel discussion， 我觉得是非常。
So I do believe this is one of the best panel discussions in so many years because we have received a lot of feedback, and people believe that the topics we discussed are quite relevant, given the time we live in, given the fact that we live in Taiwan. However, we used to only talk about compliance. But I always wanted to take the next step. For example, a few months ago, there was an institution, peace institution, based in the United States. They came to Jing abode. They had a conversation with me. They are advocating for peace, and they target college students. And I asked them, how come you did not approach your own members of parliament, in other words, members of representative or senator? How come you didn't try to discuss the issue of peace with your government, your president? And you have mentioned a lot of good ideas, good concepts. Do you think it's possible that we can probably, have some discussions with political leaders? We hope we can do that so that we can together shape the world for the better. Thank you. So I think we can stop here at this point. Once again, I would like to thank CEO Yan for the appeal that you have just made. I think that's something we can definitely try and do For example, by going back to our school, we can continue to work on that to expand the scope where we share the concept of the economy of goodness. Thank you very much for your participation. I believe that we will be able to expand our influence by working harder. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator, as well as all three panelists. Please come to the center of the stage for the group photo.
世界的进步真的很需要。
It requires that we stand united by working out of the kindness of our heart so that we can continue to build a better world. I don't know whether you've noticed on the screen to the side, we have shown subtitles that are the creation of our AI system. Please give a big hand to our AI team. We will continue to improve our AI system. Thank you.
接下来是午餐